Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 10 of Ultimate Exotics. As the name suggests, we are featuring the top level supercars that are available on Gran Turismo 6. And in this episode we're featuring one of the most significant cars of the series, and arguably the fastest car in the series overall. And not only in this series, but one of the fastest cars on Gran Turismo 6 as a whole, especially within the street car category. Now, in terms of top speed, with certain setups, there are vehicles which can give this car a healthy run for its money, such as the GTR Nismo, the Veyron, and the Alfa Romeo TZ3. Those cars, though, don't have anywhere near the acceleration of the Huayra, and that is why it's such a formidable opponent. Because despite being, as it's pretty well known as being, quite challenging to tame around corners, it's just so fast in a straight line that you can pretty much just dawdle around the corners and still get an absolutely insane lap time, such as here on the Le Mans. Now this is of course the non-chicane version of Le Sarthe, and this car, despite being a street car, can get around this track in 3 minutes dead. And I am nowhere near the fastest of drivers on Gran Turismo, and I can get around this track faster than a fully tuned LMP car or a Group C Le Mans car. That is insane, and that's a street car. Now, of course, that's completely unrealistic, along with the fact that this car can go from a standing start to 300 miles per hour in 17 seconds with the aid of NOS. Obviously, completely unrealistic, as most of the car's top speeds are on Gran Turismo. But sometimes unrealistic is very cool, and in the case of this car it certainly is, because if you're going to make something insanely fast, you might as well make it be a car that's at least interesting, and that the Huayra certainly is. It is Pagani's technical masterpiece. Now personally, I'm more of a fan of the Zonda than the Huayra. I prefer the purity of design and engineering that the Zonda has, being naturally aspirated, having a larger, more beastly engine, and more angular, chiselled looks, which I personally prefer to flowing lines. Now, a lot of people think that the Huayra is a more beautiful car. I can understand that. Like I said, I don't dislike the Huayra, I just prefer the Zonda. But in terms of actual performance, there is no contest between the two. The Huayra is the far superior machine. Now, it does have a smaller engine, interestingly, a 6-litre turbocharged V12, compared to the original Zonda's 7.3-litre V12, which was naturally aspirated, in its ultimate form being the Cinque, apart from the limitless custom versions after that, of course. Now this engine is available, or this car primarily, is available in two forms on Gran Turismo. There's the 2011 model and the 2013. They both cost the same, they both have almost identical specs. The 2011 has slightly more power, and that's the version that I'm using here. But overall their performance is almost exactly the same. There is a slight visual difference between the two cars, being that the 2011 version, which you see here, does not have a small chin splitter under the front bumper, which the 2013 model does have, and one of the two cars, being I believe the 2013 model, has an extra brake light in the rear window, whereas this version does not have it. If I've got that the right way around, I think I have. Now in terms of actual performance, well, I touched on that a moment ago in terms of acceleration, but in terms of sheer top speed, this car can do around 310 miles per hour even without NOS, which makes it insanely fast for most tracks. Now, of course, on most tracks, you're not going to get up to those kind of speeds, but its massive acceleration means that it's very effective on a wide variety of tracks. Now, as I said, this version has slightly more power at 1,247 horsepower fully tuned and 1,057 pound-feet of torque. And all of that massive power and torque is in a car that only weighs 1,105 kilos, which significantly undercuts the Veyron, for instance. And thanks to that, it has a massive power-to-weight ratio of 1,129 horsepower per tonne, which is among the highest of street cars on Gran Turismo. The PP is slightly different on the two different models, this version being 693 PP. If I recall correctly, the slightly newer version, the 2013 model, is slightly higher, I believe, in its PP, 1 or 2 PP higher, but again, they pretty much break even in terms of actual performance. And both cars cost the same at 1.35 million credits, which in terms of what they're capable of is actually a pretty good price. Now the handling, yeah, it's challenging, but with the right setup and limiting the amount of power that you personally feel comfortable with, it's still a highly formidable opponent on the majority of tracks. And overall, the Huayra doesn't get used as a track car as much as a top speed racer, but if you get the chance, I'd encourage you to do so, because it is actually a really good track car, obviously for high-speed tracks in general. So, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.